The 2017 offseason saw a whirlwind of changes further enhance a changing mentality in NASCAR. Eric Jones, Daniel Suarez, and Ty Dillon entered, with veterans Carl Edwards, Greg Biffle, and Casey Mears fading away from the pavement. You also had the league join segmented racing, thus changing the traditional 400 to 500 mile races. Lost in the midst of this was a continuous departure of near full season sponsors. Dollar General walked away from Matt Kenseth, while Target further decreased their involvement with rising star Kyle Larson. As a refreshing change of corporate heads, Nature's Bakery was a NASCAR sponsor on the rise, until, like many other full-time sponsors before them, the fig bar provider devoured their funding from SHR. The halfway point of the 2010s marked uncharted territory for Danica Patrick. GoDaddy, the sponsor that gained her mainstream attention and publicity, announced the end of their NASCAR sponsorship. Danica Patrick, one of the rare drivers with paint scheme identity, would lose her neon green and orange colors. That left well over 25 races without secured financial support. With the insufficient and non-performance of the third-year driver, this would typically end a career. But of course, Danica Patrick was a driver that could garner outside attention. This is where you enter Nature's Bakery. From the envision of Dave Marson and his son Sam, they created a brand of whole wheat fig and snack bars. One of their main production units just happened to be Hazelwood, Missouri, a good half-hour drive from my hometown city of St. Louis. Yet myself and many others didn't know of the company's existence. They were gaining traction as a startup company but needed to spend money to earn more recognition. Therefore, it makes sense to pursue a sponsorship in one of America's most watched sports leagues. One hot August summer afternoon, the two sides conjoined in Kannapolis, North Carolina. Nature's Bakery signed a multi-year deal to sponsor Danica Patrick's number 10 Chevrolet SS. A perfect driver-sponsor combination, considering Danica Patrick is a big fitness junkie alongside her racing and marketing endeavors. The bright blue and white colors would appear in 28 races, all but filling the void GoDaddy created. This type of company was needed for the declining series. To have a new, outside partner take interest into NASCAR is a positive circumstance to take form. As the season kicked off in Daytona, their first full-time adventure was shown with mixed results. On the track, it was a typical Danica Patrick-esque season. She never earned a top 10 all year, although bizarrely enough, it was her greatest season in Cup. She more than doubled her laps lead count and had a career-high average finish of 22nd. Their greatest race at the company came at the Dover Downs. The Nature's Bakery Brownie Chevrolet SS finished a solid 13th on a cloudy October afternoon. That was with the retiring Tony Stewart. Success was more accustomed to what Nature's Bakery did to engage off the track. As an avid consumer of NASCAR products, I purchased some of their finest fig bars from the Targets and Walmarts of the world. I assume their search results on Google skyrocketed, especially during and after the Daytona 500. The company also had an active presence on the Midway. The lone race I attended at Kentucky, there was a Nature's Bakery booth handing out packets of fig bars. Many other NASCAR fans likely consumed its chocolate or grain bars, or were at least familiar with the name Nature's Bakery. For a small company, I'd say that's some pretty good familiarity. NASCAR fans are indeed the most loyal to sponsors, and now they had a foundation to build upon for years to come. As NASCAR Media Day took place on January 24, 2017, things were suspicious with Danica Patrick. She adorned a Taxac fire suit. Meanwhile, the Nature's Bakery logo was absent as an associate logo for both Patrick and teammate Clint Boyer. At the time, I didn't consider this a big deal. Sometimes companies rebrand or want to alter their image. Case in point, Exalta in 2013 and Dow just last summer. I figured to an extent that was what Nature's Bakery was doing. 1 week later, Danica Patrick's social media account further ridded Nature's Bakery from the public eye. Once again, she was presented as the Taxac driver. Prior to the change, Danica Patrick was pictured in front of the 2017 Nature's Bakery paint scheme. Not to forget, the 2017 diecast was well released to the public. In fact, I was one of the first to receive the 1/64 scale version. 4 days later, Stewart-Haas Racing took this controversy to the court of law. They filed a $31 million breach of contract lawsuit for the owed sponsorship money from Danica Patrick. SHR's side of the story claimed Nature's Bakery wanted to rework the agreement after some problems with the company arose. They also accused Nature's Bakery of developing a scheme to avoid further payments. Their main claim was Danica Patrick endorsed a rival product. Nature's Bakery demanded a termination of the contract 1 month before Speed Weeks 2017. This came after missing several scheduled payment deadlines throughout the season. Nature's Bakery filed a counterclaim later that month, stating they could not control Danica Patrick. Less than 5% of her Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram posts consisted anything related to Nature's Bakery. The company also stated SHR's claims were illusionary, with no increase in sales and retreating NASCAR viewership. This is the same company that, in their sponsorship announcement, claimed they were NASCAR fans for over 20 years. The two sides eventually settled on May 24, 2017. As part of the deal, Nature's Bakery earned primary sponsorship for 4 NASCAR Cup races. Those races included co-primary sponsorship from Feeding America, meaning the company likely didn't foot the entire bill. During those events, Danica Patrick finished 15th in her final Nature's Bakery event. Clint Boyer netted 2 top 10s at New Hampshire and Pocono, even winning a stage at the Tricky Triangle. Those were Nature's Bakery's only top 10 finishes as a sponsor. Following a 23rd place at Michigan, the checkered flag was reached for the Nevada Bakery's time in NASCAR. 32 races with minimal on-track success and a damaged reputation amongst NASCAR fans. For the ripple effects that ensued, this move prematurely ended Danica Patrick's career. While I don't encourage sponsorships to screw over drivers out of left field, Danica Patrick's release was long overdue. Her 2017 season was horrendous, netting a career-high 11 DNFs. Nature's Bakery departing made that executive action inevitable. Espinel stepped in to sponsor 15 races, but that money only filled half the void. Her Ford Fusion featured many Ford-sponsored races, including her own clothing line for the fall race at Richmond. While Gene Haas was worth billions, he already had money primarily invested in Kurt Busch. Combining Haas and Ford-sponsored races, SHR's 4-car operation had 41 quote-unquote unsponsored events. Counteracting later that fall, Tony Stewart was able to bring in stable sponsorship from Smithfield. 30-plus race funded, along with a veteran driver in Eric Almirola. His tenure so far hasn't been the greatest, but the 10 team made the playoffs both years and won a race at Talladega. Eric Almirola's 2018 was better than all 5 of Danica Patrick's seasons in the 10 combined. Had Nature's Bakery remained, Danica likely races at least through 2018 and possibly remains in the 10 still today. It's safe to say Stewart-Haas Racing has done just fine without Nature's Bakery. As for Nature's Bakery themselves, I haven't heard nor invested in the company since. In fact, I just found out Nature's Bakery adopted a new family-friendly logo doing research for this video. You'd think with the millions they invested into NASCAR, they'd buy some advertisements to spread the word. At least when Dollar General departed, they built and renovated stores to enhance the customer experience. I didn't know a thing about the rebrand, whereas if they still sponsored in NASCAR, many would see their change image front and center. Can confirm these things still do exist. Meanwhile, the Hazelwood factory is still up and running, albeit they received a setback due to a fire. I would contribute this factor as to why Nature's Bakery missed their annual payments. As a small company, it makes sense as to why they couldn't deposit their check to SHR on time. Then again, why would you sign a $30 million NASCAR sponsorship as a company with an estimated 200-500 employees? The conservative choice would have been a 5 to 6 race deal. Nature's Bakery could have invested that money into online or in-race ads and likely would have seen a larger increase in sales. With this method, you still get the brand name to NASCAR fans, but don't effectively kill your business if the endeavor fails. Nature's Bakery knew they swallowed the sponsorship whole and tried to get out of the deal. Meanwhile, I find their 6-star pro nutrition claim as an unjustified excuse. Their counterclaim states it was as if Michael Jordan decided to wear Adidas while being paid by Nike. Yet, 6-Star Protein is more of a protein-style drink mix. They specialize in powders and shakes typically sold in the supplements aisle at your local Walmart. Nature's Bakery, meanwhile, is more of a snack item typically sold next to granola bars and other on-the-go items. No sane customer is going to put back a Nature's Bakery pack in favor of a 6-star supplement. Sure, they could have given Danica a fig bar before driver intros and appeared more on social media. You have to take into consideration, however, this was just year 1. Danica Patrick even stated she and SHR weren't worried considering the long-term deal. NASCAR fans are undoubtedly the most loyal product consumers. Over time, I guarantee Nature's Bakery would have become well established alongside M&M's, Miller, and other long-tenured companies, especially considering they were on the car for a grand majority of the campaign. Nonetheless, this is all just speculation. Maybe Nature's Bakery heavily reduces their sponsorship in the next renewal and never sees that jump. Maybe after the $31 million deal, they file for Chapter 7 bankruptcy. Maybe even the partnership completely thrives, but a new owner shifts the company into other endeavors. The possibilities of Nature's Bakery and SHR remains unwritten and will to the end of time. What remains is a story of one of NASCAR's largest sponsor opt-outs in league history. So anyways, this is NRF signing out, and just remember, life's a beach and then you drive.